Buyers versus sellers expectations. Listen, my name's Dave Panozzo. I'm a real estate agent. I run a team here in Scottsdale, Arizona with about 25 agents, and this is something that I've been seeing a little bit of a trend lately, so I wanted to share with you my thoughts on this. Sellers versus buyers. I'm gonna focus more on the seller side. I've had some new agents on the team that have picked up some listing leads and actually got the listing, okay? So awesome job there. But I noticed that the tempo of the listing is almost the same as if though it was a buyer. Now let me break this down for you. A buyer, is pre-qualified. You go out looking at houses and then finally you find the right house. You write an offer, it gets accepted, right? Sometimes that can be a 2 month, 1 month. You can get lucky and someone can have a pre-qual and you go out 2 weekends in a row and you find the right house and boom, they go under contract. It can happen very quickly. With a seller, it's kind of that same process, except what I find is buyer's agents that get their first listing kind of treat it like it's a buyer, okay? And what happens is that tone and not setting the expectations up front makes the seller think like, oh, well, this is a quick process. Like, this is gonna go quick. So let me break this down. The time that goes into working with the seller, you go to a listing appointment, maybe they interview a couple people, they get back to you and say, great, the listing's yours, we want you to list our home. Awesome, like this is exciting stuff. You send over the listing agreement, you have to set up for photos, you're doing all the preliminary stuff that you would for a listing. Well, once the listing goes live, what I find is agents treat that as if though it's almost like it's under contract. And so what happens is the expectations get really blurry at this point because of the fact that they're excited that they're getting their first listing on the market. They almost treat it like they sold a house. And so what happens is in the seller's mind, like, oh, we should be getting a bunch of offers and oh my God, this open house, like we'll probably just blow the doors off and there'll be a ton of people through and we'll have multiple offers and the price is gonna go up. It doesn't work that way, especially in a market like what we're in today. Maybe that might have worked back in 2021, but not in today's market. So you really have to set the tone with your seller. And so here are a couple key things that I'm finding. Number one, make sure you remind your seller of average day on market in that particular neighborhood when you run the comps. Because sometimes you need to remind them, hey, listen, right now in the neighborhood, average time on market is 55 days, it's 65, 70, whatever it may be. If we get lucky the first couple weekends, that would be great. But the comps are showing us right now, you're looking at maybe 60 days on the market until we can get an offer. When you do that, it sets the tone in the mind of the seller, okay? Because if they are expecting the first weekend getting multiple offers and open houses and all this craziness, they're thinking that they're gonna get an offer. So here's what happens. The listing goes live on a Thursday, there's an open house on a Saturday and only 2 people come through. Who are they gonna blame at that point? They're gonna start pointing the finger at you. And then you're like, well, hey, listen, give it some time and, hopefully we'll get an offer soon. That's not the case. You would wanna say something like, hey, remember at the listing appointment, I shared with you that it's going to take probably 60 days, maybe even more based off the comparables, based on time on market in this particular neighborhood. And so even though we say things one time, maybe 2 times, we expect our clients to remember that. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't because they're excitable about their next move, or maybe they're preoccupied with other things that are going on that they really don't hear that. Just because you say something once doesn't mean that they understand and know it. You sometimes have to remind your clients that this is a process and it does take time, and that you're doing all the right things to prepare the home for sale. You've done the updates, you've done the photos, you're doing the open houses, you're doing the things that will promote having showings and then hopefully getting offers. So remember, the tempo with a buyer, you're on timelines, 30-day close, 10-day inspection period. Those are things that are a timeline that go very quickly. But with a seller, you have to remember slow and control so that you don't get your sellers super excited thinking, oh, this is gonna be a quick process and we're gonna get a quick offer and it's gonna sell quick. So just remember that the next time you're sitting at a listing appointment, you wanna point out, listen, it's gonna take a minute for your house to sell. There's a lot more homes on the market today, which means there's more choices for your buyers, which means they're gonna be a little more picky. Hey, if you thought this was good advice or good bullet points, I wanna know, shoot me a comment below. As always, hit the like button and also subscribe, because I'm always dropping heat every week and I'd love to hear from you. And let's make it a great day.